So we'll start with your demographics. Your name is
Alex.
Alex Littlewood. Age?
34.
34. What phone make and model do you have?
I have an iPhone 6.
And how technologically savvy are you on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not at all, 5 being expert?
5.
5. And how many hours would you say you spend a week at the dog park?
Per week?
Mm-hmm.
2 hours.
2 hours. Okay, so basically the background is I want to make an app that keeps people who frequent San Francisco dog parks connected to the dog park. I've given people 3 basic tools to do that. There's a map tool, a dog parks tool, and a MyPack tool, which is basically like a group of users that are connected like friends would be on Facebook. So using these 3 pretty much primary tools, I want to take you through 3 user tasks. The first task I'll have you go through and then I'll ask you some questions about. So starting from this greeting page, we're pretending you're a first-time user, which you pretty much are. What I want you to do is to sign up with AlphaDogs, and then once you're in, use the map to find your home park and connect with a friend from that park.
Okay.
Okay? So, so you've chosen to sign in with Facebook.
Do you want me to narrate while I'm doing it?
Yeah, you can talk it out.
Okay, so yeah, on this I would sign up with Facebook. This is the kind of thing I would sign up. I'd feel comfortable doing a social login. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple other options there. Facebook, Twitter, and Google login would be nice. But Facebook's, the standard, so that's all good. I'd agree to the terms and conditions, and I click sign up.
All right. So basically, this is the homepage of AlphaDogs, and the next part of the task is to use the map tool to find your home park.
Okay, I'm going to make up that my home park's down here by the marina. I'm trying to double tap to zoom into that area of the menu, or of the map. I thought I was on the map. It looks like maybe I'm not on the map. So now I'm going to click and go to the map. Okay, now I am. So I would drag around. I would, scroll and double tap. I really like Google Maps where you tap twice and then swipe up to zoom out. I use that constantly. Mm-hmm. Definitely make sure you include that in the menu.
I'm using the Google Maps API, so
good. So yeah, double tap and then swipe up, and then so I suppose let's assume I've found my park. Now I'm gonna click on that's my location. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now, yeah, these seem a little small. There's like a star in a. Not sure what that is. I would actually kind of expect there to be almost like a dog icon, dog shape icon. But if you can tie it in with the logo in some way. But all right, so I'll select my park, Alamo Square Dog Park. Okay, so if I want to connect with somebody from my dog park, I'm assuming then I have to add the dog park.
Yep.
Park marked. Okay.
So basically that means that's one of the parks you frequent. So in another section of the site, it's one of the first ones that pull up if you look at dog parks.
Right. I would almost expect this, because it said add, I would expect this to say something like in your parks or a park, your park or something like that. Park marked. I'm not sure I understand. And then it didn't, if I want to now go into this park, I feel like I would click on. Okay, so I go to posts and see what people are saying about the park. Okay.
So say here you see someone that you recognize.
Okay. So Jackson, somebody I recognize, and I click on that. This is all of his posts? Okay.
Most recent, yeah, sorted by most recent. So if you wanted to connect with him.
And is this Jackson? Is Jackson the dog? Or okay, I see. So the user's Jackson, the dog is Brutus. Okay, he's got a picture of his dog. All right. Just a note, actually, I rarely know the owner's names. Honestly,
right, that's why it's there.
I more often know the dog's names.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why I included them both, because it's like, you know,
So
you may know
join
that.
pack.
So that's just basically a way of saying add friend.
Okay. It almost suggests like, so when it says join pack, it almost seems like it's not a one-to-one connection. It's a group that we all belong to. Is that because when I click to friend him, I'm joining the pack with him for that dog park?
You're just connected to the user, essentially.
Okay, so it's
just
like a friend.
Just
Okay.
like having a friend.
So I think that's a little confusing because what I would think that almost like I either want to add him as a friend, or I would want to join some sort of subgroup that is related to this park, right? And if you think about it, I know that I particularly go to a Frenchie meetup at the park that I go to, and I rarely go on any other times. I go to the Frenchie meetup, which is sort of like a subgroup for that park.
Cool.
Now that subgroup also has a meeting that happens at another dog park. So if I were part of that pack, of that type of dog meetup, and I'd want to know which parks they were at, but I'd also like to be able to add an individual as a friend. So I almost think it'd be good to have both functions, like connect to this person so we can dialogue and keep in touch about which park we might go to, and I want to see what they're up to. But then also, I'd like to know what's going on at that park. And then there's also like a so there's almost like three potential groupings there. Because I might not want to know what's going on in the park, and I might want to know what's going on with the sort of French bulldog pack that I belong to.
And I pretty much cover all that. I cover the park, what's going on at the park, and what's going on with individuals, but the groups is kind of what I was avoiding, just because I don't want people to be connected to people that they don't know or don't want to be connected to. It's basically, you're not only using the tool as a way to keep in communication with people, you're avoiding some people. Like if you know that some dogs don't get along or are bad with kids, then you're not going to show up to a certain park on a certain day. Type of deal.
Makes sense.
So that group thing, well, I think it's super useful because there are meetups of every kind, like especially with the breeds, you know,
Right.
just like you were saying.
So then, if there's a dog you want to avoid, but you're not gonna friend them and connect with them,
You'd get that information at the park. You'd look at the park page and see who's checked in.
I see.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh, they have to check in to be okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
So if you want to connect with them, boom, hit it again,
join back,
and then. So you'll see, like, okay, so you send a request. If they accept, now that you're connected, you can direct message each other.
Okay.
Sweet. So that was user task 1. Let's just go through a few questions.
Just a verbiage here. I would say like send message instead of direct message. I know that is the feature, but like I've never seen anybody use direct message as the call to action in the.
It is a little technical.
It's more technical, yeah.
Excellent feedback.
Okay, and so if I wanted to, now this is interesting because I'm looking at their profile and their post. If I click the X, where am I going? Am I just sort of going back out to
you're
that
just going
dog? Got
back.
it. Okay.
Yeah, essentially it works like layers.
Okay.
You know,
so
overlays.
the only way I find people is by going to a dog park and seeing if they posted at that dog park. I can't.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's another
You'll
way
see it later.
Okay.
You'll see it later. Task 1. Overall, how would you rate the difficulty of that task? Scale of 1 to 5, 1 being difficult, 5 being easy.
Probably a 4. Maybe a 3 to 4, 3.5.
That is acceptable. At any point were you confused or lost?
A little bit, but I think it was much more to do with some of the verbiage than the flow.
Issues. Cool. And you did go over those pretty well, so I'll just refer back to those. And then what was your overall thoughts on the process of task 1? Something useful, something not useful, any changes you would make, anything unclear?
I think I mentioned everything that was unclear. I like and the changes. I like the. I like the idea of it. I think it's great because it rings home. I would use this. Yeah. Actually, on that same note, dude, I think this is really cool. I think you could totally roll out with something like this. Is that your plan?
Oh, we'll see. I'm gonna investigate it. So, it's like a lot of getting pulled in a lot of different directions after I graduate.
Yeah.
Motorosa being one.
Yes.
So, all right, let's do task 2 now. So,
Yep.
got through that fine. You can tap the logo to get back home. And okay, so now we're in a scenario where you're a signed up user. So before going to the park, you want to check in with your pack. You want to read a post by another user, maybe reply to that post like, "Hey, I'm coming, stay there," something along those lines, and then send a message to another user.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're okay, first step is check in with your pack.
So you know what I would actually, one thing I would almost expect is if I wanted to sort of check in with my pack, if I'm at the home and it says recent activity, I'd almost want to kind of see less than the locations. I kind of want to see the people I communicate with and connect with most, updates from them, like right on that home screen. And
Go ahead and swipe.
Oh, okay.
I think you got to do it up here.
Oh, cool. Nice. Perfect. Okay, so I got it.
That's all right. It's very subtle, and I'm actually maybe thinking...
Well, and that's what I was trying to do, and that's how you would have it. You would have it swipe it left to right. I guess the InVision doesn't let you code it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it says swipe. It just doesn't work.
And that's what I was doing. So
I was just wondering, did the little kind of...
Oh, no, I totally knew. And that's why I was doing it. I was like, well, hey, how do I get to it?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so, no, perfect.
So, yeah, you can basically get a glimpse as to all these activities from the home page.
Yep, pack activity. Park activity. Cool, love it.
All right.
Got it. Sorry.
So
what was
you'd
the
be
task?
checking in with your pack. So
Cool. Yeah. So that was the first thing that I got. I could see. Go back, fucker. There we go. So cool. And if I wanted to message somebody, I could just click reply, or send them a direct message.
yeah,
So
I don't
reply
have
is-
it set up here. I have it set up through my pack.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would have
But
to go
you
to my pack.
pretty much found the easy way to do it, which is
Yes.
good. And I think that
Well, that
also...
should tell you something too. It's like if I want to check in with what's going on, it should be right there on that first
Sweet.
thing. Yeah. So this default, I'm almost wondering what this probably shouldn't be like the first thing.
This I didn't explain either. What the map shows is it basically shows all the parks that I'm going to cover. There's more parks than this, but the color on the little park indicators represents. So if it's blue, that means your pack's doing something. If it's orange, that means there's just activity at the park. Like people are making posts at the park, and then if it's gray, that means there is no activity. So
Got it.
basically what you get right here is a snapshot of where there's people where there's people, and where it's like dead.
Got it.
So you get, I guess, 3 sources of information, and you can tap on them. I think I have it set up, yeah. You can tap on them for a glimpse of what kind of activity. So boom, park activity, or pack activity, and you see the first post.
So from a hierarchy
And then
standpoint,
gray, no activity.
from a hierarchy standpoint, what I would want to see is my immediate pack activity first. Like I would want to know like exactly like the most recent stuff that people are doing and where they're doing it. Then the activity at the park level, and then activity at the all park level, which is what you seem to have here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So because it's kind of like starting at the most granular and then zooming out, whereas this is sort of like this is starting at the
I
full
go the
zoom out,
opposite, yeah.
and then it goes to the most granular, and then it sort of goes somewhere in the middle. So it's almost like it kind of jumps around a little too much. Plus, like one of my preferences for like user experience is that concept of get them to wow first. Like immediately getting them to something they can engage with at that pack activity level of my pack. Fuck, sorry, I'm clicking.
It's okay. It all kind of works, so.
Yeah. Getting them immediately to sort of like what's going on engages them instantly versus the sort of holistic view. It's almost like I would want to see the map of the whole city because I couldn't find anything going on where I wanted to be. So I zoom out, then I zoom out again because I want to find something that's going on.
So, yeah, kind of like acting local, then global.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Totally.
Yeah, I think that's great feedback. So now that we're at my pack, you want to see someone's post, reply to it, and then send a message. So first, let's reply to another user.
Okay. Cool. Just click reply. Is this my typing field?
Basically, what you've done is expanded their post so you can read everything and see that they've included a picture, and now you would reply to their post.
I see. Okay, I'd probably say see thread or something like that, or view messages, because if I click reply, I'm like ready to type.
Right. Okay. So. Oh yeah. Okay. That's great feedback too.
Yeah. So if I have to click reply twice to get to the place where I'm typing a message, that's a little bit.
Okay. So you've tapped reply. You've entered your information. Then what?
So it's almost like view thread, and then.
Yeah. Expand.
Why is this one all expanded?
Just because there's more information than the original.
Oh,
Closed.
I see. Okay.
Right. See
I would
the
almost,
dot dot dot. That just means there's more to it.
right. I would almost think then that if we kind of go back to this, right? So if I see that, I would think that if I click on reply, I'm going to be typing. But if I click anywhere else here, then it can just sort of expand that and show me the whole message. And now the reply button's just down here.
Okay.
Right, so I guess you close it. So I would almost think it would be like this, right? Because I can click and close. It would open it up. But if I hit reply, I would expect this to pop up. I'm replying now. Maybe that's what you intended anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for the purposes of vision, it just goes through this. In vision, it just goes through the steps. But I think it's something. To reply right away.
I gotta have you do
I
this
can
with
add-
Stephanie. Make a note that I got another user for you to do.
Cool. All right, so you're ready to reply.
Yep. Type it, add reply. And I would actually want submit. I think it's just the most standard.
Oh yeah.
Congrats. It's
So-
interesting. So I got a congratulations message for submitting a reply.
You just get like a confirm, and then it gives you more options. So maybe congrats again is the wrong verbiage, but you can map it. You can notify everyone else if it's kind of like a public thing, and you can determine who can see it.
Oh wow.
So it's just further information, and then I mean you can do nothing with it, or you could do something with it.
Yeah.
So if you were gonna message someone from my pack, where would you go?
Go to my pack, find the person I wanted to message, click on their profile image. I would expect that to take me to them. So that profile image should take me to their profile. So let's see if I'm at my pack. Yeah, I would expect that to take me, like, if I click here, it should open the message. If I click on the image, it should take me to their profile. I don't know how to get to directly them. Maybe if I've messaged them before.
Yeah. So that's like the
But then-
message threads, basically, right?
So only if I've messaged them before, I would expect to come here.
Right.
If I click on my pack, I kind of expect to see, like, because what if I want to message somebody who's joined and we're connected, but they've never ever messaged? I don't see where, like, the people in my pack, unless I go up to my profile up here, click on my pack.
Sure. I think that's just like I have to differentiate a link again, get it on their picture so you go to their page and then you can
Yes.
directly message them.
Yeah.
Perfect. Again, awesome feedback. Thank you.
I would also potentially click the whole Jackson, Mr. Fart.
Yeah, the name is a link. Anything that's red is pretty much a link.
Cool.
Okay, task 2, same kind of questions. Overall, how would you rate the difficulty of the task? 1 being difficult, 5 being easy.
3.5.
At any point were you confused, lost? If so, where?
Yeah, it was, I think, in finding specific people that I'm connected to that I haven't messaged before, so finding the people that I'm connected to within my pack. And then I was a little bit confused after, like, submitting a reply. There's kind of a lot of controls on that. And I would think it should maybe it should just be a little simplified and add that complexity if people start asking for it. So if I go to a thread that's obviously public in a park and I click and I publicly respond, it should just be available. And then if I want to message that person directly, that's private. And I just clicked on their profile and I send a direct message.
Cool.
I realize that Facebook has set this criteria, this like sort of usability idea of like being able to post something and determine having all these variables of how it posts. And I almost never use it myself, and I have heard that it's a fairly lightly used feature. But brands use it very heavily, obviously, because they're trying to control and target.
Yeah.
But I think users might get a little bit too confused. Also, it took me to a new screen, and if I'm dialoguing with somebody, I'm guessing that it could be real time. And if I put up a message, I'd almost maybe wait a second and see if they responded it there on that screen, or I'll just close my phone for a second, wait for my push notification that they've replied, and then I'll open it up again. And because we may be in a dialogue, so I wouldn't want to be taken off the screen every time I've posted something.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's great feedback, and I think that's how you just cut it down the middle. Messages are private, posts are public.
I think it might be a great way to start it out. By the way, there's also kind of a technical complexity layer to that might just be way over engineered initially if you're trying to get an MVP out. You know, thinking through it's one thing, but building it is another.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem I'm running into. What are your overall thoughts on the process of Task 2? Do you think it's something like realistic you'd use?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's probably the first user flow you had me do is just go find out what's going on at the park. And the second user flow of connecting with someone, I think the second user flow is why I do this. Yep. The first user flow is a means to that end. The second user flow is I'm doing this because I want to connect with somebody and make sure I get my dog with the dogs that he likes, and with that cute blonde chick that I'm trying to nail, right? Like that is where I want to get to, not the So step one is kind of like the means to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think that's the meat and potatoes of it, but you still have to like lead people in.
Yeah. So I think your question was how important is it? I think it's the
most.
Entire reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most important.
Excellent. All right, just one more. So for the next task, we want to find a park that has a beach, and once you've gone to the park, you want to give it a rating and direct message someone that you're there. Okay. So if you're looking for a park with a beach, where would you go from here?
I want a park with a beach, so I could look at a map and see if there's a beach. So one of my instincts is to go to the map, but I would almost think I'd like to just filter a list of dog parks with beaches. So I'd click on dog parks, and then I would like to be able to filter this by sort of attributes of the park. And so I see a list of dog parks, but I don't see a way to filter this. I can just click search. Oh, okay, there we go. So I click search, type beach.
Then it's filtered.
So I like searching, but I would highly recommend that there be a filter, because there's going to be characteristics that you'll build into this dog park, but then there's also like maybe I'm searching for a park by name, and I don't necessarily want to just filter it.
Yeah. My qualm with this is there's a shitload of filters. Like there's a lot of ways you could differentiate the dog parks. I think I made icons for them all, and there's like at least 20.
Wow.
So that's why I'm just going with search right now.
Yeah, because you got like tree
and then
cover.
I think once you've figured out which parks you actually go to a lot, you're just going to go to my parks. You know what I'm saying? All right, so you found a park. Let's say one of them looks good, and you're going to go to it and or learn more about it, rate it, something, not something, but that's exactly.
So
what
I would click on one, and I'd expect to be able to click on the park, and give it a star rating, add it to my parks, upload a photo, check in at that park.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's what I forgot. Yeah. So if you check in, that's part of the check in, and then let someone know where you're gonna be.
Right. Oh, let someone know where I'm going to be?
Yeah.
Oh.
So if at first...
By checking in, that lets them know where I'm going to be, right?
Yeah. So if you check in... Go ahead.
Wait, do I want to... Are you asking me how I, like, send someone a message like I'm at this park? Or how I just let the whole community know that I'm at this park?
That's checking in lets the whole community know
community
you've
know,
checked
right.
in, and then like you're finding someone there and being like, "Hey, let's meet up." Sorry,
You know,
I need to
here's a
fix the
thought for you.
question.
Here's a thought for you. The whole like add to pack thing, and where we talked about there's kind of like joining a group, and then there's friending that person.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a little weird. You would want somebody to, you want it to be a friend mechanism where you can accept it. But I almost think that there's an opportunity for a follow feature here. But maybe that's creepy. Like, you know, some girls there, you want to stalk her and you just follow her and you get her updates.
Yeah.
But you could do an Instagram style where it's like follow and they have to approve it. And so that you have to almost like friend. And then that way, so anytime I check in somewhere, anybody I friended or know on here is like, hey, blah is at Beach Dog Park.
Yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see that that's built in. So it's
Right.
like, boom, who's here? And those are all the people that have checked in recently.
Okay. I kind of meant like, if I check in, anybody who I'm friends with gets a notification of which dog park I'm at,
They do.
which could be spammy.
Yeah, check-in is activity, so basically they'd see that if they're looking for it, not get notified every time someone checks in.
Add post, I have to click that, then I get a text field.
Mm-hmm.
I would maybe just make it a text field with an add post button so that I can just type and then click add post. So I don't have to click, type, click.
Good stuff, man.
Swipe for more. So these are the features that you add.
Yeah, and I mean, Funston has tons.
Yeah. I think this is super important, and being able to like filter by these criteria. Search is always great because if somebody knows what they want, but like when they start to see the very, like, especially if somebody's new and has they haven't been to a lot of dog parks and they just got a puppy and they want to take their dogs there, you know, knowing what to look for in a dog park, this app can accelerate your sort of awareness of the difference. Real grass, fake grass. I actually like fake grass dog parks.
Yeah.
Prefer them. And some people, I'm sure, go the other way around. They want real grass, you know. And
If you go through the actual sign up process, instead of signing up with Facebook, it asks you like what your dog's interests are.
Yeah.
And then that's where you get all these features. So that's where you just boom, tap, tap, tap.
Can you also add a feature that allows you to publicly shame a person for not picking up their dog's shit?
That's like a lot of it what it's for. Because like if you go to a park and you check in,
Yeah.
you can post and say, somebody fucking left, drug needles out at the park today, and
Right.
that's a post, and everybody sees it.
Right.
Yeah. So if you check in, go ahead and tap check in. You can add copy if you want to. Otherwise, you're just checking.
Oh, and you check notify pack. Love
Right.
it. This is really well thought out, dude. I like it.
And then from here, so if you go down to like who's here, back up there. So if you recognize someone, you tap on them and you go to their page and you can direct message them, like you said. So that direct connection's missing on the like in my pack, but I built it in here. All right.
Yeah, for the idea of filtering, and I would strongly urge you to do that. Look at Airbnb filters. The way it works is just like it's like a filter button along the bottom. It's kind of like how we did it on Motoroso. And you click filters and it scrolls up and it lets you choose from all the things. And yours could just be like a visual check, apply filters. And
yeah, because what's tight is I've actually done that on the map. So on your filter button, you can kind of see
that was the filter button?
Yeah.
Change that? No idea. I thought that was just that looks like a folded up map to me. I would definitely use the word filter there, or a filter like funnel, but I think the word filter would need to be there. I see. This is cool though. Like this is a good selection of shit.
Right. So you can see what kind of activity.
Although I would. This is good filters for the map. For the listing of dog parks, I would want to see filters of park features. and of course star ratings. So you'll be able to like highest rated, lowest rated.
Yeah, that'd be a filter for sure.
Yeah, so all the different filters.
Wait, if tap on park. Oh yeah, so top rated is a filter. Distance, top rated, and what you've added to your parks.
Distance, top rated, my parks. Yep.
Okay, so final question, final task. How would you rate the difficulty of finding the park finding task?
Pretty easy. Yep.
1 to 5.
Yeah, probably 4.
And were you confused at any point or lost?
No.
And your overall thoughts on that process? How useful everything was? Was anything unclear?
Nothing was unclear. No. Hey, just a thought for you though. Here, like when I'm in dog parks, right? And now I'm looking at distance, top rated my parks. I feel like it might be redundant because it's right there, but I kind of feel like having a map view. Oh.
I didn't build it in,
Oh, okay.
but that's essentially where you'd go.
So you click you'll click that and it'll take you to map. I almost
And then
feel
you
like
get you get the zoomed in map
Right.
centered around the park.
Got it.
So that's missing.
Oh, really good. Really fucking good.
So overall impression?
Of the whole app? Mm-hmm. Like on a score or just verbally?
No, just however you feel about it.
I think
in
it's
general.
really cool, man. I think there's definitely a great need for it. I've seen people try to do doggy social networks, but I absolutely think it should be geographically anchored. And this could have a really good impact. And it's half social, right? And then it's social for your dog.
Right.
It's also a safety app, right? It's enabling me to know, am I going into a park that has dangerous situations in it or a high crime rate or anything like that. I think that's all very, very useful.
Mm-hmm. And that's built in the dog poisonings. There was a bunch of dog poisonings.
Oh yeah.
In not Pacific Heights, Twin Peaks,
Yep.
and that got me thinking about it a lot. And dogs running away and
Right.
all that kind of shit. It's important to be able to get out there. Would you say you would use this site if you lived in San Francisco?
Yeah.
1 to 5?
Yeah. Right. Nice rating.
1 not at all, 5 all the time.
5.
5.
Yeah, I'd use it.
And which feature did you find most useful? I think you said that the pack.
I like being able to sort of figure out and connect to people. That's pretty cool. And I actually think the notifications of like, hey, this person's at the dog park, and I do think you need an events section here, right? That says the French Bulldog meetup is today, or it's in 3 days. Would you like to RSVP? I actually think the notifications of like what's going on would be really, really handy. Both events and like who of my friends or who of the people that I hang out with have connected and sort of checked in, so I know where to go and what to do.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good feedback. I also have to look at Instagram now too. How would you rate the overall difficulty of navigating through the site? 1 being difficult, 5 being easy.
Overall, probably a 3.5. There is a lot on each screen. And so I realize it's aggregating a lot of information, but for a mobile app, it is a lot in one screen.
Yeah. I definitely get that. Do you think that becomes easier the more you use it? Like, is that...
Of course, yeah. It's like, I mean, look at Instagram. They pack so many fucking tiny links into Instagram, you still use it, and once you become familiar with it, you use it. But I actually despise Instagram every time I have to click the little view all comments link. I'm like, why you make this so fucking hard, Instagram? I hate it, but still use it.
Yeah, right.
And that comes down to the utility idea of it, right? One of the tough questions to answer is, would you use this app if you lived in San Francisco? It's like, well, it depends. Would I use it if nobody else used it? No. Would I use it if the people I connect with use it? And so I think you're smart by starting in San Francisco. I think you'll be really smart to start by the parks you frequent so that you can ask people to, hey, I built this new app. Can you start using it? Can you start trying it? Can we use it for this park? And then start making sure you go to lots of different parks all the time. And your job might just be to end up going to every fucking dog park all fucking day. Stella will be worn out.
Yeah,
But,
which I've done because I've had to photograph all of them.
oh, nice.
So like all those are like actual pictures
Cool.
from those parks. I've written descriptions. Obviously, I've gotten
Yeah.
all their locations for my map software and all that.
Nice.
So I'll end this and then I'll show you what it's like right now that I'm coding.